Let's take a look at the chart action for Bitcoin. Okay, so this is what I've been looking at, this pattern like this. We had resistance, 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 support, support, support. I was watching these two trend lines and I'm still waiting for a breakout. In yesterday's video, I was talking about how we were getting support on this level, and I was wondering if we were going to get a bounce on this bottom and head back up and possibly come back up to around 45,000. I was also watching on the 4-hour time frame. We had resistance, 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 and I was saying if we could break this trend line going to the upside, that's going to be a good signal. And guess what happened? We broke this trend line going to the upside, and right when we broke that, we got a nice big candle going up. Right now, it does look like we're having a little bit of trouble somewhere around 42.2K, 42.3K. So I'm kind of curious if we're going to have to come back down and maybe retest maybe the 180 moving average, or I'm not really sure. In general, it does, for me, I think we've been bouncing in between these trend lines. We got to bounce on this bottom. So for me, it kind of makes sense that we're going to come back up and retest this top over here at around 45K. That's just my opinion. It's possible that we have some trouble right here and start heading back down, but for right now, I'm kind of targeting 45K. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the moving averages. So let's go ahead and delete everything and let's take a look at the moving averages. The daily 9 moving average, it's kind of going in and out of this moving average right here, but we did break back above that moving average. So like I usually talk about, it's better to be above the moving average than below it. Now that we broke above the daily time frame 9 moving average, let's jump over to the weekly 9 moving average, or the weekly time frame, and take a look at the moving average. So another thing that I've been really watching is this 9 moving average on the weekly time frame. And I think it was the video the day before yesterday, I was talking about how we're still really close to this weekly 9 moving average right here, and it looks like we're still testing it. As you can see, we broke above the 9 moving average, so in my opinion, this is also a good sign. We still have 4 days and 7 hours to close this candle above this 9 moving average. I think if we can close this candle above it and then the next candle stay above it, then that's going to be another good signal. Hopefully we can start getting support on this 9 moving average as opposed to when we broke below it and then we were getting resistance on it. Every time we came into it, we got pushed down, pushed down. Right here, we were testing it like I was talking about, and we broke through it. But what we really want to do is close above this 9 moving average. We want to close this week above the 9 moving average, and then next week we want to also stay above it and start heading up as well. Then maybe we can start looking for support as opposed to getting resistance on it. In general, I think the main thing that I'm watching is this channel pattern like this. We have this top and we have this bottom. Like I said, we got a bounce on this. We had support yesterday and then we got that bounce. We broke above the daily 9 moving average. So I'm looking at around 45K. That's just my opinion though. And if we could break above this, then we can start getting more confident on heading to higher levels. Or if we start having trouble here, it's possible that we come back down and have to retest and we continue to bounce in between these two trend lines. Until we break to the upside or to the downside, I'm kind of assuming that we're just going to be bouncing in between these two trend lines. But we've already tested it once, twice, 3 times, once, twice, 3 times. So I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that it might be breaking out one of the next times that we either come up to this one or we come back down and test this one. Like I said, it does look like we're getting a bounce right now. We broke above the daily time frame and the weekly 9 moving average. And so I'm kind of targeting this 45K, and I'm kind of wondering if we're going to be able to break out, and maybe we can start breaking out of this little sideways box that we've been in for a few weeks now. I think if we could break to the upside or the downside, I'll be targeting the top to the bottom of this pattern. Let's go ahead and do that. And I've been talking about this, maybe dragging it to the breakout to the downside or to the upside. It does look like we're coming up to test that upside right now, but this is the target that I'll be kind of looking at, as well as the previous resistances. This target, if we could break out right here, let's say, then this target is sitting at around 53,268. We also have this resistance right here and this resistance right here. Let's go ahead and do a horizontal red line for a possible resistance level. This level is sitting at around 51,000 approximately, and I'm looking at this on the daily time frame and using the top of the candles. We also have some wicks up here. It's possible that we go a little bit higher. You could also argue that it could come up to the wicks, but I like using the candles just to be kind of a little conservative about it. So like I said, I'm watching this pattern, and until we break to the upside or to the downside, then I'm not really sure, and I'm kind of thinking that we might be trading just like this. But we have been testing these levels a few times on both sides, so I'm thinking a breakout could be coming pretty soon, maybe. Looks like we're coming up to test that top, hopefully. So I think the next target is 45K. Let's see what happens after that. If we could break out, or if we get rejected and start heading back down to maybe around 39K. This is just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think though. If you guys liked the video, hit that thumbs up button so I could see you in the next one.